Hi, welcome back to English. It's Hello. Welcome back to our first term seminar for the year 2023. What's up, everybody? Long time never here. Long time never here means you're probably like a physical class student. Because obviously, physical class, I'm not gonna enter the class and be like, correct or not? Okay. So, hi. You are not my student. I am Suet. You should probably see me on the cover of the notes. I actually don't know how our notes look like. Probably with just with your cover page. Yeah? Okay. So you probably have me on your cover page. If not, this is how I look like. Okay. So we're gonna go straight into today's lesson. Just because we only have 2 hours today. I am not going to be able to go through every single section of a full piece model paper. I am going to pick and choose, particularly focusing on the essay components today. Okay? Anybody has any expectations that you want to cover? You can let me know in the chat group. Do you have any concerns, particularly weak in what aspect? If I can touch base on it, definitely I'll do that. But of course, let's have a bit of an understanding here. Given that today is a seminar section, correct or not? Given that it is a seminar section, I am not going to be able to do the utmost basic of like, teaching you grammar, past tense, present tense, teaching you how to bina ayat, correct or not? Those are things that on a regular basis, we should be working on. So today's seminar base, I definitely will prioritize techniques, skill sets, exam punch points, like what are teachers looking at? How are you going to score your points? Paper 1, the matching component. Matching or gap text? I think that's my question. Matching or gap text? Because there's 2 parts, right? Gap text is the one where you have the big paragraph and you're matching individually. This one, okay? Matching is this one, where you match the paragraphs to the statement pieces. So are you talking about matching or gap text? Paper 1. Oh, a majority of you are looking into paper 1. Oh. Cool. Okay. Then maybe we should spend a bit more time on paper 1. Anybody has any other concern? 1 hour for each. Wow, your expectation. 1 hour for each essay, 3 parts. How to do 1 hour? Yes, teacher, because my exam will only have paper 1, no paper 2. If your exam only has paper 1, is it the bulanan, like peperiksaan bulanan? Or are you talking about wasa? Because wasa should be full paper, right? Oh. Now, although I am concerned for every single exam that you have, but you need to know the difference between the two. Let's get into this. Now, Preparation Bulanan usually is the shorter set. It only covers paper 1 and maybe 1 out of the 3 essays that you have as an SPM student. But I'm less concerned with Preparation Bulanan because it is not taken into account to your final ultimate grade. So if you have younger siblings, Form 1, Form 2, Form 3 especially, if they're very concerned about streaming in Form 4 and Form 5, the ones that are truly taken into account into your streaming is the UASA, UASA. So a lot of you have peperiksaan bulanan in May, and then in June, you have your UASA. Yeah. So if you ask me which is more important, obviously I'm going to say UASA, right? Because it's going to be marked down, recorded, compared to your peperiksaan bulanan. But okay, we'll touch base on both, because even for myself, individually in class, as much as we try to touch base on everything, I do primarily spend more time on essay components. Okay? Then without further ado, let's get things started. Now we're gonna start from the very top. I'm gonna very quickly go through what you should expect in an SPM paper, just in case you have not gone through this with your school teacher. Given the fact that we have just started school in March, your new school term in March, and you have already had multiple school holidays, and it's going to have another school holiday in another week or so, you might not be very well informed in the details of what an SPM paper denotes. So your SPM paper comes up to 4 sets. As much as you think they may not carry as much weightage, all 4 sets, despite the marks allocated, will then be converted into 100% and given as 1 grade. Okay, so you've got your parts here. Paper 1 is essentially your topical component, focusing on the reading. You have your MCQ, multiple choice question, your rational close. Multiple choice question is usually graphics. You have a bit of a short reading component. Sometimes it's an ad, sometimes it's a pictorial. Rational close is where you have your grammar and your vocab. Very similar to it's a combination of UPSR rational close, where there's a lot of vocabulary, and Form 1, 2, and 3 error identification, which is full grammar. So when you come to Form 4 and Form 5, you have a combination of that called the rational close. Okay, you have a long text. Simply put, it's just your comprehension. A lot more difficult than your PT3 level if you've been doing your model papers. You have your gap text, which is the one that I told you. You have a essay and then blanks that you fill in with sentences. Matching is 2 parts. One is paragraph matching. One is single word matching. 40 marks. Okay. Paper 2, you have your short message, which is your email, postcard, message, or memo. Some of you call it a memo. Guided writing is one of the 2. Choose one question, and then it's either a factual piece or a descriptive piece. Narration. Okay. Extended writing. Out of the 4 questions, you'll be given 3. You have a review. You have an article or format. Now, article or report, only one will come out. They are both under the category of formatted writing, and only one of the 2 will come out. And then you have a story writing, my favorite. Okay. Now, paper 3 and 4 are your oral components. You have your speaking, your listening. We are not going to touch base on this, unfortunately, today. 2 hours is just insufficient. And for your first time exam, they don't usually touch base on this anyways. So just to zone in to what we're working with today, we're going to take a look at paper 1 and 2. Okay. So I see that most of you are quite concerned with your paper 1. I will spend a bit more time there if need be, particularly on certain parts. I might not be able to touch base on everything, but as most of you have gap text concern, rational close concerns, I will touch base on those more. Okay. Now, let's go into paper 1 first. A lot easier, a lot quicker. Now, take a look at this. This is the government piece of a model paper. You have paper one components here. Now, this is what you call a multiple choice question. Okay, this is, will we be doing email? Sure. My primary aim is the essays. Okay, my primary aim is the essays. Then I'll touch base on the paper one. So what you want to do with paper one, right? I'm gonna very quickly go through this, is that when you take a look at your question and answer, the main tip here is what? Form 4, Form 5 paper one answers have to be very accurate. So a lot of you have the bad habit of just identifying or thinking what is correct and then getting the answer there. You need to go through all of the answers. Sometimes it is not that it is correct. It is just the other day when I was going through this, there were questions where it is not wrong. It is just the most accurate. Does that make sense? If you go through A, B, and C, and D, the options given B and C was entirely wrong. Between A and then A was like the most accurate. It's not correct, because you cannot find exactly that sentence within the passage, but it is most accurate just because B and C was 100% wrong. Does that make sense? So with Form 4, Form 5 paper 1, you need to go through each and every answer to ensure that the option that you're choosing is most accurate. So question number 1, let's take a look at this. Everybody will just touch base. I'm not going to go through every question. I'm just touching base. Question number 1, the purpose of the advertisement is to introduce, how to identify, or to improve the sales. Now, take a look at it, at your options here, the question here, the passage here. What do you think is your answer? I'm probably going to do like 1 or 2 questions per part, yeah? So don't worry about it. What do you think is the answer? Hands in your keyboard. What do you think is the answer? Everybody attempt it. That's how I know if you're correct or wrong, right? A, C, A, very good. So number 1, right? I definitely know that it's not C. By process of elimination, this is my favorite technique, process of elimination with multiple choice question, I confirm know there's not C. Why? As much as you tell me, teacher, but this one is company. Whoa. If they don't want to increase the sale, how come they want to introduce this one? Don't think too deep into why people are doing this. Take it at its surface. If it did not sell the product, buy one, free one, buy this at this price, you must try this, sell this, then assume that it's not there. Okay, so question C, confirm is wrong. Okay, between A and B, it doesn't actually have tips or steps on how to identify. It just introduces or gives you point that it is, yes, you have characteristics of fine high tea, latest tea. So your answer is A. Beautiful. Good job, guys. Okay, we're going to try one more. Take a look at number 2 before we move on to the next part. Multiple choice questions shouldn't be a problem. Take a look at it. Let's do 2 minutes. And give me your answer. What do you think the answer for question number 2 is? Remember, with multiple choice question, put a number in front of your answer. Otherwise, I have like a whole row of alphabets and I don't know which is which. Question number 2, what do you think is the answer? Which statement is true about the National Science Challenge? What do you have? Oh, you're taking so long. You're taking so long. What do you have? A. Exactly. Number 1, I know for sure C is wrong. Correct or not? You will not get an award. You just get to go. So C 100% is wrong. Number 2, this is a activity. So individuality is again wrong. A, the final 4 teams will go against each other. Okay. Now, you don't know that for sure, but you know the fact that it says what? The 4 teams will compete, will go to the final stage. So everybody will be at the final stage and compete in activities. And by process of elimination, I am 100% sure C, B and C is wrong. So my final answer is A. Do we understand this? If you understand this, give me an okay thumbs up, party popper love shape in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We good, we good. Oh, just in case you're a new kid and you don't know what I'm saying, sorry. If you, I do this oftentimes. I have 2 things that I usually do. I either ask you to raise your hand, which is in the reaction button of your taskbar, or I'll ask you to emoji me, which is a thumbs up, okay, party popper love shape. It usually shows up not in the chat group, but in your emoji on the side in your taskbar. It's just a checkpoint very quickly. Okay, just in case. Okay, now take a look at the second one. I'm not going to go through everything. I have the answers provided for this already, so we can look at it later. Now, with question 9 to 10, we're going to touch base. This is what I mean by it being part grammar, part vocabulary. Now, same skill sets that I do with my students all the time. The trick is in your first sentence, you need to identify your tense first. So tell me, past tense or present tense, what is your proof? With your first sentence, past tense or present tense, what is your proof? Very good, Anshan. What is your proof? What word tells you that it is present tense? Is. Good job. Now, I'm going to tell you how you identify this. When you identify your tense, a lot of students tend to go to your active verbs. Dance, eat, walk, this kind of words, correct or not? But that is not the correct sequence. When you want to identify a tense, step number 1 is identify your tense based on your be verb first. Now, be verb means ialah. Saya ialah sebuah kerusi. Dia ialah sebuah kerusi. Mereka adalah kerusi. Okay. Now, so this is essentially your is, am, are, was, were, including, though not restricted to, do, does, did, has, have, had. I'm going through this very quickly because again, these are all basic, right? And I want to go through this just in case we have students who don't know. Now, just in case you don't know how to divide, especially between do, does, and has, have, your present tense formula denotes that singular with S, plural and special I, U, no S. So if you have S, it's usually for singular. If you have S, usually for singular. If you have S, usually for singular. No S is for plural. No S is for plural. Okay. Did and had with your D form is your past tense structure. So that's number 1. If you can identify through a be verb, that is the best, most accurate structural proof that is past tense or present tense. Aside from this, you can use your models. Okay. Can, could, shall, should, will, would. I'm going to very quickly go through this. Present tense, past tense. Okay. If all of these do not exist in your first sentence, then you can use your active verbs. Then you can use your kata kerja, but it has to be in this sequence. You have to first evaluate your sentence, and that is why I chose the word is here. Why? I cannot use referred because on top of it, it is an elaborative sentence. That means it is not your primary statement. And if you take a look at it, again, you have your be verb of is all the way down below, further confirming the fact that it is present tense. Okay? Now, so we're going to only take a look at a couple one here. Most of the passage or the questions here, as you can tell, are vocabulary questions, except for question 9. Except for question 9, which is a grammar work in particular to your Pernanda Wachanas in the beginning, your conjunctions and connectors. Your C and C lah, huh? Linkers and connectors. Everything else. Because I cannot take question 0, this was an example statement, okay, other than these two. So you know, majority will be vocabulary. So there's no way to go around. There's no like study list, vocab list that you can study from. It's just so vast, correct? So we're gonna try question 9 and probably one vocabulary statement if you need be. Question number 9. What do you have? The pangolin, often referred to as an anteater, is an animal usually found in Asia. What is your answer for question number 9? I'm waiting. Very good. Now, the most alternative question here, everybody is quite clear. A is not correct, C is not correct. Perfect. Now, between the two, which is your perfect answer? Your answer is D. Now, why can it not be despite? I think out of the prepositions, despite is a very common issue that students have. Despite and in spite of. Both means what? Despite and in spite of, a lot of times focuses on action statement. Okay, means don't care. So in itself, it means regardless, tidak peduli. So it's usually used in sentences like, despite the heavy rain, Michael still went for a run. Okay? That means tidak peduli, regardless of the fact that it was raining. Michael still went. It usually is an active form, contrasting but active, effectual. Now, although means walaupun. So in this case, can you see now with the meaning? Does D make more sense? Good job, Ziling, Shamini, Ray, Li Xuan, Yashvini. For those who answered B, does it make more sense now? Despite is usually an active sentence. That means it's not usually fact. It is cause and effect. Okay? Do we understand this? Especially for those who answered B. Do you understand this? Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Now, out of the remaining questions, question 10 to 18, what vocabulary or what question here do you want me to target? Because I cannot go through everything, right? Which one in particular do you want me to take a look at? consists of, which is question 13. Okay, let's take a look at that. There are 8 types of pangolins in the world. Question 13. Generally, the scales on their skin, 20% of the pangolin's body weight. We know what is scales, right? Like the fish scales. Oh, everybody is doing 13. 13 is the issue. Oh, okay. Now, consist means what? Include. What is in it? What does it consist of? What does it include? Okay. Now, result, as you know, is an effect-based statement. So if you look at your question and answer, it best be a result lah, huh? Now, contribute means it causes. Essentially, B and D is the same. You would think that it is the same. It is just opposite. I would say A is the reason, then B would be the result. Okay? If you say contribute, usually it is only part of the reason. This one focuses on the effect. This one focuses on the process and being part of the reason. Now, make up usually talks about percentage. Correct or not? Not makeup, correct or not? Because you're making it, ma. So if you take a look at question 13, what do you think is the correct answer? Okay, make up the 20% of the pangolin's body weight. It cannot be A, number one, because it is not including something. It's not a package of something. It cannot be B or C because it is not cause and effect. Does that make sense? If it makes sense, give me an okay thumbs up, buddy popper. Love shape in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you, Damia, Enxuan, Li Xuan, Shamrita, Vinny. Everyone else, I'm assuming you're okay as well, Okay? So, when it comes to vocabulary, right, as cliche as it sounds, there is really no other way than to expand your reading and your vocabulary. That's why I always tell my students, okay, don't study your textbook every day. You know, like, have a bit of time. Watch some YouTube. Watch some good movies. Don't go and watch like SpongeBob SquarePants, okay? Like good movies. Listen to some music, you know? If you study every day, you know, on this study, your vocabulary is very restricted. Okay? What is the difference between a threat or a danger? Usually between threat and danger. What question is that? Let me take a look. Question 17. Okay. Now, question 17, let's take a look at the question. When the pangolin senses, bada bing, bada bang, bada boom, it curls itself up into a ball, protecting its face by hiding it under its tail. Now, we know for a fact it's not a problem, correct? We know for a fact it's not a risk. At the end of the day, a risk is something that you take. It's not going to harm you unless you take it. Does that make sense? Now, between threat and danger, perfect alternative. Now, what is the difference between threat and danger? A threat is hypothetically there. Okay, it is aiming to hurt. Okay, it is aiming to hurt. But if you're looking at danger, it is usually existing. it is already dangerous. What do you think is the answer? B or C? Everybody is saying C? Question 17 is C. Exactly. I'm not gonna just go away just because there's a threat, what, right? Unless I sense obvious danger. Perfect. You see, it's very menial differences between the statements. Okay. But at least in this case, I know for a fact that your level is probably B and above. Because you can at the very least eliminate clear wrong. Okay. Now, that being that, we've spent too much time here. Let's move on to the next one. Now, with comprehension component, very quickly, you really need to go through everything. Form 4, Form 5 comprehension is very different from 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, your answer is directly in the passage. You just need to find the keyword that is existing in the passage, copy, paste. That is your answer. Form 4, Form 5 comprehension is a lot more difficult because it includes actual comprehension. You need to understand the passage and look for the right, the hidden meaning. I'm going to only look at one question, okay? Question number 19 in paragraph 2. 1, 2. Why does the writer use the phrase happily watching her in action? You have enjoyed being the help, feel contented, admired her mother's cooking skills, found her mother's routine amazing. Now, this is actual help. This is just companionship. So if you take a look at paragraph number 2, our kitchen was simple, an earthen stove. That means like a clay stove, old kitchen, kampong stove. Blackened by the smoke forever, greeted us with its round mouth. Mum would start her busy day, routine in the kitchen, while I would be sitting. Keyword, sitting. Happily watching her in action. She would sit on a low stool in the kitchen, chop the wood with a clumsy axe, place the chopped wood under the stove, set them alight. As the wood burned, the food she cooked gave off a delicious smell. Now, process of elimination. Which 100% can throw away? A. You're sitting there watching only. Hello, you do nothing. Whoa. Correct? Now, number 2, what do you have? Which one would you throw away next? Donkey, exactly. The mother doesn't have a routine. I mean, in this sense, you see, she's not talking about a particular routine in the kitchen. She's just moving around because there's no particular routine, right? Let's say today she cooked noodle, tomorrow she cooked rice, today she cooked chicken, tomorrow she cooked vegetables. There's no set routine. Routine means what? Routine means repetition of action. Then it is a routine. There's no sense of repetition that is being mentioned. Question B and C, what are you talking about? Which one do you think is the correct answer? You're going in the right direction, guys. Everybody is saying C. She admired her mother's cooking skills. Tell me. The whole passage here talk about chopping wood. Only one sentence on food she cooked. And she didn't even give me details on how she cooked. What cooking skill is there? Zero cooking skills, somehow you see. Now you A. You know, mind blown, correct or not? So what is your final answer? The correct one. B. Correct. Vinny, Yashvini, Anshen. Can you understand now? You see the difference? So for Form 4 and Form 5, do you see how it varies from 1, 2, and 3? There is no specific answer. You don't see the word contented in the passage at all. You need to be able to break down and analyze what is correct. So I must say, important things I must say 3 times. Process of elimination is your best friend. Do not go to the correct answer straight away. By process of elimination, get the highest possibility of accuracy by eliminating the wrongs first. Okay? Process of elimination. This is the technique that I do elimination with my students in class all the time. As much as you can do it quickly and a lot, I still insist on doing process of elimination with my students, no matter how many times we do it. Okay, now for this passage, the most difficult question I would say would be question 26. Okay, but this one you have to read the whole passage first. Okay, now I want you to focus on, I'm going to give you a clue so that when you go home and you do it on your own, you have something to fall back on. Who is the major character? Focus on the key topic. Sometimes you may be distracted by minor characters, but remember, any movie that you watch, any book that you read, just because there's minor character doesn't mean the book is about them, correct? Focus on the key character. Okay, so do try it out, come back. Yes, Li Xuan is about the mother. Already giving clues. Attempt it out and then we'll see how it goes, okay? Now, next one. This one a lot of students requested just now. This one a lot of students requested just now. I'm going to spend a bit more time here. Now, this year in class, I actually spent a lot of time working on your gap text. And we focus on antecedents, if you remember. Antecedents essentially is your subject and pronoun, part 1, topic, part 2. When you are doing gap text, this is your technique. This is all you need to look at. Step 1, look at the sentence before and after, whether you share the same subject and pronoun. Step 2, look at the topic, whether it's the same for before and after. Okay, I realize, of course, there's no, unfortunately, in this part, there's no steadfast way to tell you, this technique confirm can work. But I've come to realize that these two greatly decreases the risk of error. Okay. This one, right? So I want to spend a bit more time here. Okay. Now take a look at it. You're looking at camp for the future leaders. So what I like to do, kind of go through the passage first. Being a school prefect, often have to help other students to provide them with example to follow. I have to be their role model. Last month, for the first time, my school selected me to attend a leadership camp. Unsure of what to expect initially, I left with a feeling of achievement at the end of the camp. I know what it takes to be a good leader. So we know lah, we're talking about a leadership camp. So number 1, talking about speak easy, correct or not? Number 1, talking about speak easy. We were encouraged to reveal our secrets, innermost feelings. To our horror, the facilitators made it compulsory for everyone to participate. Made it compulsory for everyone to participate. Now, we had no choice but to build up our courage and speak up. What do you think is your answer for 27? So if you realize 27 talks about speaking. Yes, Yashvini. What else? Everybody else? Everybody else? And you can see the sentence in front made it compelled to our horror. Number one, the option. No choice but to build our courage. So this part here shows a very heavy negative emotion, correct or not? So obviously 27 cannot be a positive statement. Yes, cannot be positive. A lot of students in this case, they want to tell me age. Because the sentence is no choice but to build up. How can it be? Wow, everybody is eager, correct or not? So, yes, good job, everybody. Yashvini, Shamini, Ray, Yi, Li, Xuan. Number 27, donkey. I was pushed out of my comfort zone. Okay, now next one. So always look at before and after your subject and your topic. Okay, so this one I focus on my topic. Okay, now the next activity was something I've been looking for. It was a workshop on how to deal with disciplinary cases in the safest way possible. Hands-on activity taught me how to deal with these sorts of difficult situations. This knowledge is something to be shared with the new prefects in my school. So you're talking about dealing with disciplinary cases and difficult situations safely, shared with new prefects. So number one, you know that it is probably more about school. And then you have a positive effect, correct? Positive school. This is your subject. What do you think it is? Dealing with problems. There's only one that is dealing with problems, correct or not? Exactly, Fen Sheng, Ray Yi, easy. B. More confident addressing problems with junior students. Now, question 29, activity that has the most impact on me is learning not to judge others based on looks and position, not to judge others. There is only one that focuses. Yes, Li Xuan. A. We should listen to the views and ideas of all people. Can it be C? Cannot. The reason why it cannot is C, everyone who attended noticed a huge change in how they behave and treat people, is a conclusive statement, correct or not? It doesn't relate particularly to judging people. The topic is not compatible. Okay. Question 30. Enjoyable experience during my stint, but truth was I was occasionally homesick. Fortunately, the warm and friendly attitudes of the staff put me at ease. I learned how to cope at a camp that felt like home away from home. So enjoyable experiences, although occasionally homesick. Positive, negative situation. I really tried to focus on all the positive, but I was occasionally homesick. Easy. Question 31. Really impressed with the camp facilitators who led the sessions. Always approachable and helpful, giving us practical tips that would be useful. Practical tips that would be useful. This would be an advantage, not only now, but when we step into the working world. So tips that are useful in the working world. Put those two topics together, which would be most likely? Good job, Yashvini, Shamini, Vinny. Question E. We learn about time management and how to handle stress effectively. Last one, the leadership camp is a great way to gain skills necessary for dealing with real life situations. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Credit must be given to the way the leadership camp was organized, recommended to anyone aspiring to be a leader. So you're talking about the purpose or the aim of the activity, right? The trip, the camp. So if you got an aim, you must give me an effect. Effect of the aim is what? C. Everyone who attended was positive. But in fact, this is the hardest. 32 is the hardest because C, you don't feel like C is an accurate answer, right? But with what you have left, H and G confirm is not correct. So again, by process of elimination, C is most likely. It's a conclusive event. It's like at the end of the day, what was the effect or result of the camp? C is most likely to be correct, right? So you do sometimes have to resort to, again, process of elimination, but you aim to get as many confirmed ones as possible. So do you see how I relied a lot on topic? In this question, sometimes is heavily relevant on subject. That means your character. Okay, but for today, in this one, you realize it's heavily relevant on topic. You just need to compare the blanks before and after, and you'll be able to get it. Do we understand it? Give me an okay thumbs up, party popper. Love shape in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay, there will be more practices. You attempt it. If you have any questions, you can always come back to me. Don't worry about it, okay? Now, last one. I'm only going to do one of each. Yeah, we're running short on time. My aim is like what our friend said just now, 1 hour for each, okay? Now, match your answers on the separate sheet of paper. Teens on community service. What I like to do with my students is roughly look at the passage first. Okay, identify key effects. If they talk about community service, it most likely is different forms of it. So number 1, I talk about free tuition to little kids in our own backyard. Number 2, animal shelter. Number 3, old folks home. Number 4, zoo. Number 5, children's home. Number 6, local library community project. Okay, so question 33 to 36. Yeah, do you realize what I did wrong? Question 33 to 36 doesn't even focus on the activities or the community service. It focused on the emotions of the character, right? So you might have to go back to it again. Now, I did not enjoy the work initially. I organized the work by myself. I sympathize with the unfortunate in my area. I get to have a better input of the world. Okay, so taking a look at this, what do you think? I think question number 35 should be super easy, correct? Even before reading, I can answer it already. No. Keyword for 35 is in my area. In the highlights that I worked on just now. Exactly, Shensheng. A. This is the only one that focuses on our own backyard in my neighborhood. 35, confirm A. Now, 33, 34, 36, you'll have to go through it again, lor. So I did not enjoy the work initially. Which one do you think it is? I organize the work by myself. I get input to have a better understanding. We're going to skim it through very quickly. I already found 33. Anybody got 33? 33 is B. Did not enjoy, wasn't very enthusiastic. Exactly. Shensheng Rei. Question 34, 36. Let's take a look. Continuing on. I think I have 36. But let me continue first. Shensheng, which question you answering? 34. F. Very good. Organized by myself because you did it all on your own and you hope that one day your classmates will join you. Perfect. 36. What do you think? C. I think it's C also. Why? Understanding of the world, useful life lessons. Does that match? Good job, Xuan Sheng, Ray Yi. Anybody has any questions on the top? Hey, Gerald, I just saw your name. Okay, now, aside from that, let's take a look at the first question on 37. I'm not going to go through everything. Those who are interested working with animals, that's two that was animal, what, right? You got the zoo and you got option B with Julie, 14 years old. What would your vocabulary be? Someone is no more than one word. No more than one word. What would it be? Exactly, Kashvini. Shelter or zoo. Okay? Easy. Good job, Yashvini. Good job, Xuan Sheng. So go through everything yourself. I must say, the QR code here is incorrect. The QR code here is incorrect. I am going to share with you the QR code at the end of the class for you to check your own answer in the end, okay? So don't worry about it. The QR code here is incorrect. Now, that's it. Are we all okay? How's everybody faring now? If you're okay, give me an okay thumbs up, party popper love shape in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anybody else has any questions regarding paper 1 or not? Anybody has any other questions? No, 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 no. Perfect. Beautiful. Let's do this. Now, today, this is, like I said, the government set paper. Okay. We have, this is what you're looking at. You have your email, your paper 2. This is your SCM in terms of email, postcard, and what do I have? Message. You have your one, choose one, factual or descriptive. And then you have your 3, choose one. Okay. Now, I have already, again, in the QR code, you will be able to look at something like this. You will be given, how do I share this? Okay. You will be given something like this where you have, do you see the Microsoft Word? Okay. Where you have the multiple choice questions up top. And then I have created all model essays. Okay. I didn't even pick and choose. I made full essays for your question 3 as well. All 3 topics here. Feel my love. Okay, so make sure you go through it. I do want to just mention this in terms of your email or your short writing task. In the most recent update that I've received from a cluster school, a grade A cluster school, your section A email, short communicative message, email, postcard, message, from now onwards has to be in 1 paragraph. Did anybody else receive that from their school teacher? Yes or no? No. Still can write 3 paragraphs. Yes. Yes. Mine doesn't even teach. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, no, no. Okay. So in the past, you can look at the essay later. If we have time later, we can even go back to that. Now, in the past, what I always tell my students, because I feel like students a lot of times frame their essay on, even though I hate answering it this way, yeah. But a lot of students frame their essay on, teacher, paragraph should I write in this part? It's a bad habit, I want to say, especially if you're a story writer, section C, like part C. If you're a story writer, it is such a bad habit to frame your essay according to number of paragraphs. Because if I'm trying to do like an impactful statement, bam, I might only write one sentence in that paragraph, correct or not? Very bad habit, but I understand where you're coming from. There's a lot of uncertainty in your essay writing life. If your teacher has never said that before, my paragraph suggestion is 3 paragraphs, 4 paragraphs, 5 paragraphs. Okay? But like I said, literally last week, I have received news from A grade cluster school that part 1 has to be in 1 paragraph. Intro, body, conclusion, 1 paragraph. Because they are looking at connectors, and in section 1, there are issues with connectors for your short writing task. So they're doing it in 1 paragraph to save the risk. Okay. Teacher, I'm a trauma dumper. Is trauma dumping a good thing in essay writing for exams? I mean, I am quite a dark story writer. If you're talking about story writing, dark story writer, somebody either dies, get injured, was hurt. I like it. I quite enjoy it. It works very well for my students. They get their scores up there. Unfortunately, it does come with a bit of skill set. Your word count of 200 words to 250 words is very restricting. You have to be very careful with how much you dump while still keeping a clean storyline, like a moving storyline. Okay, so we'll talk more about that. Okay, so let's get into the essay writing. I just wanted to show you what to expect in your QR code. It's going to give you the full model essay for all 5 essays here. Okay, again, feel my love. Okay, now we're going to go into a quick run through of what to expect. Form 5 marking scheme is exactly the same as Form 1, 2, and 3 on paper. On paper, it is exactly the same. You have, if you realize, even in your peperiksaan bulanan, your teachers have been marking your essay with a CA. Give me a second. CCAOL. This is what it stands for. Fulfillment of task, content, communicative achievement, organization, and language. Now, what does this mean? Now, can anybody tell me what does it mean to have C? It's quite factual. A lot of students always think that it is very creative writing. Teacher marks holistically. Yes, they do mark holistically, but there is a form of, there is still a factual pointer that they look at. It's not that they randomly ask, I feel like this is a 5. No. Very good. So in terms of content, you have to look at 2 things. Number 1, you answer the question. Or in my class, I use the word topic. Okay? Number 1. Number 2, points in essay. So not only do they see if your answers or your points are accurate to the question, they see how widespread, how comprehensive your points are. So in Form 1, 2, and 3, right? So long as your point is correct, they give you the answer. But in Form 4, Form 5, they look at what we like to call sophisticated answers. That means, are your answers still primary school level? Do you only talk about school environment? Are you adding in current issues? Are you putting in global aspects? Are your point of view international? Okay, cannot be like Form 1, Form 2, Form 3 like that already. Just say like, oh, we should save the environment to ensure that there are no pollution. You're gonna talk to me in specifics. What are you talking about? Are you talking about plastic pollution in our ocean waters? Are you talking about last week fast fashion and landfill waste? Are you talking about food waste and which results in sustainable farming issues or even biodegradable methane issues, air pollution, correct or not? You need to give me specifics. Okay? Okay? Form 3, I want to save the earth. I should recycle. Put in the recycling bin. No general statements anymore. Your points have to be global, international. 3 points, correct or not? You can do one on school, one about one locally, that means about your country, one internationally. There should be a range of movement, yeah. We'll talk more about details on this later on. Okay, now, so communicative achievement, what are you talking about? This is where sometimes students find it most difficult because in this sense, we're talking about phone. Okay, we're talking about vocabulary use. And vocabulary, not in the sense that your vocabulary is bombastic, is whether it is appropriate or not. And a lot of times, we look at this talking about whether it is formal or informal tone, casual or proper. Okay, how you phrase your sentence, how you insert emotions, are you using the correct subjects or not, in the sense of communicative achievements. Okay, now organization. Teacher, as you said about the ideas, like other than the school environment, how to actually remember all the information. I have a technique, of course. We'll talk about it later. I'm just going through a quick manga here on what to expect first. I have a stick man figure that we can talk about. Now, organization is basically your penanda wacana. Okay, how your text is put together, whether you have paragraph organizations. Okay, within your paragraph, you need to focus on a couple things. Should I talk about it now? Okay, you know what? Let me talk about it now. So just now when we talk about points, right? What do we talk about? What you want to focus on is your stickman figure. Okay, like I said, you need to be comprehensive. You cannot just talk about school only. That one very primary school already. So the stickman that I oftentimes use is from the left leg, you're going to do self, family, school, friends. School can sometimes turn to work depending on your subject, your character. If this character is today a school student, obviously it's going to be about school. But if you're talking about adults, community, then obviously there's not going to be school. You're going to be talking about work. Okay, health, focus on mental, physical, emotional. And then you have your environment, which is flora and fauna. And sometimes the impact of it. And then you have your social, society, country, international, global. Okay. So this is the fakta. This usually only works for fakta, factual essays, for points only that you're going to look at. Okay. So for paragraph, you're going to look at a couple things. When you look at paragraph, what you want to focus on is in the beginning, within the sentence, and at the end. So in the beginning, I usually have my students start with if masu at the start of the essay. I'm going to give it to you very quickly. I look at the essay just now, I'm thinking we might not have time for this. Moreover, additionally, subsequently, ultimately. Okay. Now, these are all start of paragraph. Okay. Now, usually I suggest students to do 3 linkers in one paragraph. One to start the paragraph, one to connect 2 ideas. Now, usually to connect 2 ideas, of course, you have your simple in, on, at lah, but you can definitely look at the technique of fanboys. I might not have time to go through this in detail later. For, and, no, but, or, yet, so. Okay. And then at the end of the sentence, usually you give me an effectual statement and you go as a result. Depending on your word count, if you don't have enough word count, obviously you can't use it as a result, right? Therefore, hence, consequently. So if in each paragraph, you can aim to have one of each, one at the beginning, one in the middle, one at the end, you should be quite safe. You should be quite safe. Okay. And then in terms of language, you are essentially looking at spelling, grammar, punctuation. Okay. Or sometimes people like to say the beauty in your writing. Okay, but that one is quite subjective. You can't feel it. Now, anybody who needs a bit of time to write this down, can you put your hands up, please, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. People watching the YouTube clip that is recorded and uploaded, just take a second here, pause it here, write everything down. No, and then when you're ready, we'll move on to the next. Okay. Roughly is this lah. I'm just trying to shove you the techniques. We might not be able to go through every single one in detail, but at least you have something to look at. Okay. Now let's go through one of the questions here first. We're going to start with a short writing task, short community task. Like I said, you're going to have an email. Most popular definitely is email. Message number 2 popular. Postcard number 3 popular. Okay. Now, just now somebody asked me, email, this is the email that you're asking for just now. Make sure you take a look. Now, how do I do my essays? I always ask my students to analyze the questions first. Obviously, if you cannot analyze the questions properly, you're already starting off on the wrong foot. So make sure you're going in the right direction. Yes, people who have been in my class, you know what I'm gonna ask you. Taking a look at the question, identify your WTF. WTF me. Come on. Why you laugh? You laugh, surely means you're a new kid. I think my kids are immune to the WTF joke already. No, you received an email from your friend. Hey, I'm very innocent one. What you talking about? Yeah. You received an email from your friend whom you will be visiting during the coming holidays. Dear Firdaus, I can't wait for the holidays to arrive. I want to plan some exciting things to do when you are here. Do you like being outdoors or indoors? Do you prefer the highlands or the islands? Let me know so I can plan ahead. Tim. Now, I created the WTF because I realized once you're able to identify these 3 structural components, bam, you have all it takes to start your essay. Okay. Now, what is the WTF? Yes, Judge Bene. Number 1, who? are you? Not only who are you talking to? If it's an article or an essay, you're talking to a mass audience, like a magazine. Write it down, because why? It influences the tone of your storyline. If you're writing to a very formal institution, obviously the vocabulary that you're going to use is going to be more proper. If you just write it to your friend, you're going to be like, what's this? Correct or not? It's important to not only know who you are writing to. Now tell me, in this passage, who are you writing to? Hands on your keyboard. Who are you writing to? Hello? Respond to me, my friend. I am Tim. Writing to Firdaus. Bang, bang. You are not Tim. Who are you? Correct. You are Firdaus. No, you're not. You're not. You received this email. Don't scare me. I'm scared. You are Firdaus. So I am Firdaus. Your friend is Tim. Okay. So you are visiting Tim. You are visiting Tim. Number 2, what is your topic? Usually it's 3 points. So I like to identify the topic, then T1, T2, T3. So what is your topic? You're visiting him. T1, outdoors or indoors. T2, highlands or islands. Now, here comes the question. What's right for T3? This is where I come in. If it was you, let's talk about this. What are you going to write for T3? That's where you're stuck, correct? Now, this is my clue. I'm going to talk about this in a bit. Let's keep that as a whole verse. Format for today, email. Now, I'm not too worried about the format because in your exams, they usually give you the template anyway. Just make sure you fill in the template. If it's an email template, they give you 2 from, put it in. If they give you 2 subject, put it in. If they give you a postcard, okay? And then you're going to write in your name, your address, put it in. If they give you a memo and then they underline it, then just do your salutation and sign off. There is usually a template to follow. I'm not too worried about the format. Okay, so let's get it started. So I'm just going to put in my emails first to tim@gmail.com from firdaus@gmail.com. Don't waste your time coming up with fancy emails. Okay. Now, before we move on, I want to give you a tip on what I have been doing with my students in regards to subject. Sometimes they give you a subject here, correct or not? Sometimes, not all the time. Okay. Now, if they don't give you anything in reference here, then you create your own subject, correct? This one, you just do whatever the title says. Visiting you soon. Okay? Now, if they give you a title, let's say when the question is provided, they have a subject provided here already. I'm going to do this in orange. Maybe they already have a to, from subject here. Okay, and the subject is visiting me soon. Okay, now here is my trick. When they have a subject that is provided in the question itself, all you need to do is this. RE. In real life, right, the RE here states that you are replying to an email that is sent to you. Where after you put it has to be uppercase, cannot be small letter, must be uppercase. Okay. Once you write the RE, you can just copy and paste the same subject. You do not need to create your own individual subject. Do you understand me? If they give this to you, then langsung you don't need to use your brain for your format. Does that make sense? Otherwise, then too bad, too sad. You have to come up with something yourself. Do we understand it? If we understand this, give me an okay thumbs up, buddy pop. Love share in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so tip number 1, if they give you, just write RE. If you write the RE, you can copy and paste the same title here. Okay? Yes. Oh, no, you still have to write the title. My dear, you still have to write the title. If you write RE, okay, again. If you write RE, you can copy their title. Does that make sense? If you don't write RE, you have to come up with a title yourself. Only if subject is given. Yes. Okay? Can we just not write a subject? Like today, right? They just give to and from. Then you don't need to write the subject. I am only writing it out for you to give you an example on instances that have a subject. Whatever format they give you, what template they give you, you just fill that in. You don't need to add on anything extra. They give you 2 from, you only write 2 from. They give you 2 subjects, you only write 2 subjects. You do not need to add on. Does that make sense? What if they don't give anything? I have yet to have a situation where they don't give you a template. Short communicative message, they have to give you template. But if they don't give anything and you're worried, okay? If they don't give you anything and you're worried, my suggestion would be to write 2 from subject. Okay, number 1, got subject, write RE to copy. Number 2, no subject, create your own. Number 3, just fill in. No need to add. Number 4, no template. Then you do the whole thing, 2 from subject. It's safest. Okay. What is RE? RE is reply. Reply. So usually it becomes, in real life, when you email people in the future, when you grow up, then it will be a chain message. Okay? Okay? Okay. Moving on now. Moving on. We're just at the template, my dear. Now, number 1, this is a written email to your friend. It's more formal, informal, more casual. I will go, Dear Firdaus. Okay? Dear Tim. Skip line or not? I like to skip a line. Doesn't really matter. Okay, doesn't really matter. Don't kanchong over this kind of small, minute details, my dear. Okay, no, don't worry about this kind of small, minute details. Now, what do I do? This is my format. ET, 3PR, haha. Intro, body, conclusion. Okay, I do this with all of my emails. Now, what does this stand for? Emo, topic, point and reason, hope, and action. Now, if you've been with me long enough, you will realize this is a copy-paste structure. It works for 90% of the topic. I haven't had too much issues with this. Now, my intro and my conclusion is always the same. I always have my students do these 2 paragraphs first before they even go into the body. Now, emotion is usually an exclamation sentence. Okay? So for example, it says, I can't wait for the holidays to arrive. I want to plan some exciting things to do when you are here. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. How are you going to respond? What do you feel? Sounds great. Okay. So you can do a couple different sounds great. I can't wait. Okay. Emotional exclamation statements. I very rarely do. I am excited. I am happy. I am sorry. Very rarely, you want some emotional statements. Then topic, just copy the answer lah. Okay, what do you want to do? Activity based. Okay. Now, point and reason. If there is a clear T1, T2, T3, some emails have a very clear T1, T2, T3. There's 3 questions they want you to answer, then you just answer. That one is the easy one. If not, I usually go on the technique of positive, negative, actionables. Doesn't matter the sequence. You deem it yourself. You see what direction is most suited. Now, positive, negative doesn't mean correct or wrong. It just means agree to the topic or disagree to the topic. Follow the topic or against the topic. Do you follow the topic or are you opposing the topic? Okay. Now, actionables means what? Specifics. Today, I tell you I want to be healthier. You tell me exercise, full stop. Is this an actionable? No. Actionable literally gives me executionable steps. You should exercise 3 times a week, focus on muscle building with the rare occasion of cardiovascular exercises. Actionable steps. Literally step-by-step SOPs. Okay? Now, then your hope and action literally is, if it is a suggestion, I hope it is useful. If you are sharing experiences, there are only 2 types. Only 2 types of emails. One is suggestion, one is experiences. Then you say, I hope you enjoy reading my email. Okay? What is your action? Usually is a call to action. Either a slogan or a bye-bye statement, like similar to your emotion on top, or a slogan. Okay, can't wait to see you. Write to me soon. Usually is one of these 3 that I use with my students. Okay, now let's apply this very quickly. Now, I'm gonna ask you this down first. Let me attach my keyboard so that we can go through this very quickly. Now, so putting my format on the right, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. Let me throw this away, do a screen. Now, can I have you, everybody, put your hands up, please? We're going to put this down first. Everybody put your hands up. We're going to put the entire piece down first before we talk about the situation. So I have my dear Tim already. I'm going to say that is a giant font. That's a great idea. The idea of asking me first so that he can plan ahead. That's a great idea. Let me answer your questions next. Full stop. So the first sentence in my
in my paragraph, the emotional component, 99% of the time is a exclamation statement. Okay, is an exclamation statement. Now, like I said, the latest format is for you to write everything in one paragraph. I'm going to break it out first, just so you can see it, but I'm going to put it back together later on. So, starting your first paragraph, remember what I said or not? The technique works the same. Every paragraph has to have 3 paribhasas in the beginning, in the middle, and the end. So make sure in your body you have the whole thing. So I'm going to say, of course, I would love, answer your T1 first, being outdoors. Why? Give me a reason. It is always refreshing to take in the fresh air whilst surrounding ourselves with nature. Okay? T2 talks about highlands versus islands, correct? So I'm going to say, give me a paribhasa linker. Moreover, on a side note, I do prefer the highlands as it is the best place to beat the summer heat while being outdoors. What is an actionable step that I can do? Literally give me a specific situation. Where is a highlands that is outdoors, that is cool, that you and I, as 16-year-old high school students, would enjoy? Exactly. Cameron Highland, Genting Highland. All your highland now, okay? All your high areas. Shall we visit the Genting Highlands? Anyone, which one also can? Both also can, whatever you like. I heard why. Again, answer why. The reason. The outdoor theme park. What is the name? Sky World. All right, that's what it's called. Has just opened its doors to visitors. I'm sure the thrilling rides are just up are right up our end. And in my conclusion, I hope, remember my hope you, my eyes are not automating. You find my suggestions helpful. If you want to elaborate, you can to your planning, or just keep it out. Can't wait to see you soon. Your friend, what is my name? Firdaus. Now, this is an email. You cannot sign an email. Okay, why is it so correct? Okay, let me give you a second. To beat the summer heat. Thanks, dear. Okay, let me give you a couple minutes, write it down, then we can move on. Oh no, we might not be able to get the full piece of writing for the next one in, but at least let's be able to talk about the techniques. Yeah, let's speed it up. So like I said, right? Okay, I'll wait for you. So take a look at the piece here. You have, I'm going to break it down for you. You have your emotion. That's a great idea. Your topic, answer your question. Now, like I said just now, right, with your passage, nowadays they do like that it is in one paragraph. Then you just put everything together. If not, then you just, oh, wait. Oh, it's a typo. Bye, Gerald. How do I do this? Okay, now you have your T1, outdoors. What is your reason? Because it is refreshing to take in the fresh air. Number 2, T2, Highlands. Why? Best place to beat the summer heat. T3, shall we visit Genting Highlands? And this is actionables. See how I use a question mark as well? So it also shows that I am able to use multiple punctuations, that I'm not just a one-trick pony with just full-stop sentences. And what is the reason? Outdoor theme park that is right up our alley. Okay, now let's take a look at some vocabularies here. And oh no, before that, we have hope. We have can't wait to see you. Okay, now let's take a look at some vocabulary here. I have my, of course, I would love, whilst, on a side note, as, shall we, there's no linker here. That's just it. Okay, now, teacher, what does whilst mean? Now, while is actually the same as while. While is US, while is UK. By right, you should be using whilst because we are British English, right? I don't think your teacher cares. But since you're in my class, if I know it, I'm going to ensure that I practice it with you. Okay. Now, right up your alley. That means tickle your fancy. That means you will your cup. Let me give you some alternatives of tea. You like it. Okay? Anybody has any questions? Like I mentioned, this is an email. Do not sign. Just write name. Okay? Do not sign it. Just write your name. Anybody has any questions? Xuan Sheng Rayan, are you done? Tickle your fancy. Y-O-U-R, your F-A-N-C-Y, fancy. Okay, beautiful. Now, we're going to try one more here with guided writing. Now, guided writing is your, before we move on, the same technique in this case, okay? Either the simple T1, T2, and T3 that is provided, or the positive, negative actionables can be used in all writing techniques, whether it is email, message, or postcard, okay? Just in case you were wondering. So if usually I've not had any problems with these technical skill sets, you can make sure you apply that. Now, going on to the next one, guided writing, which is question 2, 120 words to 150 words. Now, we're going to describe a person here, and all these words here can be used to put in our vocabularies here for today. Okay, now there are multiple vocabularies. We've tried to put in as many pictures as possible. Some of it are a bit difficult for me to explain. You have to kind of go and Google more pictures of it. Bushy is hairy. Stickle is more rounded eyebrows. Skit is straighter eyebrows. Hades black is just the color. Prominent cheekbone. Can you focus on Lee Chongwei's cheekbone? Okay, everybody can imagine Lee Chongwei's cheekbone. Popeye means very, the bicep muscle is very prominent. Taurine is that you are very soft. Wrestler is very muscular. The shoulder is like that, very muscular one. Very muscular shoulder. How do I draw a muscular shoulder? Like that. Okay. The shoulder muscle here is very prominent. Okay. You have your faces here, your mustache and your beard. You have clean shaven. You have a beard. You have a 5 o'clock shadow. You have a goatee. Okay. Now, personality to me is more important. Now, I do want to explain some of the words here when you're using it to describe people. Now, knowledgeable means what? Academically smart. You know all the information, but sophisticated means you know how to use the information. Do you understand the difference between the two? So is it better to be knowledgeable or is it better to be sophisticated? Yes, sophisticated. Now, resourceful means you can get the information. You can find ways to resolve matters. Resourceful. Dashing, handsome. Now, what does buccaneering mean? Okay, buccaneering means you are a high risk taker. Usually saying that you are adventurous. Devil may care means indifferent, don't care, or even devil may care. Yeah, like a daredevil. Like you don't care about your safety, you just like go all out, die, you die lah. That kind of very reckless, careless. Okay. Now, diplomatic means very, yes, like a diplomat. You know, you're very good at maintaining relationships between people. Gregarious means what? Sociable, friendly, amicable. Amicable. Okay. Vivacious means you are lively. You are the life of a party. Not that you're crazy party goer, but you attract the attention of it. Okay? Anybody needs a bit of time, put your hands up. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anybody? No? Okay. Now, I kind of want to talk about this first. When we do any story writing, okay, in terms of elaborations. So what is the fakta essay technique that I oftentimes use? In your body, I oftentimes like to apply a technique called the P technique. okay, which stands for point, elaborations, example, effect. Okay, point, elaboration, example, and effect. Now, point, I can easily use my stickman, right? Remember my stickman on top? For your elaboration, example, effect, essentially, as you go through it, you ask yourself why, what, how. That creates the most comprehensive statement. Now, I must say, because your word count is very restrictive, sometimes you do have to throw away one or the other. Die, if you have to throw, of course, you can use all, that is your aim. But if die, you have to throw away, example is the one that you want to throw away, okay? Now, take a look at these statements. These are common mistakes that students tend to face. Common mistakes that students tend to face. Now, take a look at the first one. Besides being conscientious, when describing people, right, she's also resourceful. She always has thousands of ideas to solve a problem. For instance, she was able to sew my school uniform, which was too long. Therefore, I learned that there's always a way to solve problems no matter what we face. Now, what is the problem here? I mean, the context of point, elaboration, example, effect is definitely there. You have your PEEE there. But what part is not so good? Take a second. What part is not so good? We're talking about points. We're not talking about grammar. I'm not talking about my penanda wacana, my connectors. I'm talking about my context. Isi kandungan. What is not good? Point, elaboration, example, effect. Which part? Exactly. Your example here is weak. Example provided is weak. Why is it weak? My handwriting is horrendous today. Example provided is weak. Very good, Vinny. Now, you gave me an example to say that she can sew it, but it doesn't show any relevance to the ability of being resourceful. Yes, you can sew it. It's your ability to sew what? Maybe somebody teach you, correct or not? But to be resourceful means what? Means you can add on the effect of she Google how to. She self-taught by trial and error, learning through Google, YouTube. Correct or not? Then you show me actual steps of her being resourceful. Does that make sense? I think if you add this on, then and with examples of Google, YouTube, then it improves the situation a lot more. Do you see it? Now, next one. Besides being conscientious, she's also practical. This is because she will never spend money on unnecessary things. For instance, she will always prepare a budget before spending to avoid wasting money. Therefore, I learn how I can save money. It's too vague, isn't it? The example provided fails to demonstrate how the mum is a practical
person. You say she always prepare a budget before spending, but budgeting is not practical. Budgeting is just financially savvy. What is an example of budgeting of practicality? Yes, I'll zoom up so that you can screenshot it, my dear. What is an example of a practical mother? I mean, so many examples, right? Let's say your mother is a stay-at-home mother, okay? So with that situation, provide examples of practicality, okay? Maybe you can mention how what is a practical thing to do for a mother? Okay, practical mother, you can say stay-at-home mother, one of her jobs or her roles is to chauffeur the kids. So what is the practical thing to do? Instead of a fancy sports car, my practical mother decides to buy a hybrid sedan car because saves petrol, good size to fit everybody. That is practicality, correct or not? Does that make sense? If it makes sense, give me an okay thumbs up, party popper. Love shape in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So your examples have to be suitable as well. Now, next one. Besides being conscientious, she's a brave woman. Never spends money unnecessarily. Taught me to buy something that I need, but not what I want. Besides, always prepares a budget before spending to avoid spending too much. I've learned to be thrifty. This one very obvious. Point and elaboration don't match. How is it brave, correct or not? When your example is never spends money unnecessarily. So this one very easy. Langsung wrong, wrong point given. Okay. Now next one. Besides being conscientious, she's also brave. No matter how old I am, my mother will eventually become my windshield. Will remain my windshield. For instance, my mother and I are afraid of bugs, but whenever I encounter a bug, my mother will help me destroy the bug. Therefore, I feel very secure. Being beside her, I am very secure. I feel secure. This is great. I mean, again, we're not talking about grammar. We're talking about point, right now. It's a great point. It properly shows how mom is a brave person with accurate, elaborative examples, specific examples. So number 4 is a great show of points. Again, when I am marking, right, it is different point, right? The point PEEE will give you points in content, communicative achievement. Yes, I will deduct marks from language and grammar, but the content and communicative achievement, I will give you points there. It is different aspects of the marking rubric. Okay, so if you need to take a picture, can you take a picture here? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now
You have an essay here describing someone who is close to you. We are running out of time. Okay, I'm going to give you my phone number. What I want you to do is, if you need the full essay of this part, WhatsApp me. Tell me, teacher, I am from the Form 4 English seminar. Can you send me the answer of page 12? Okay, I'll send it to you later on. Okay, but for today, I think I'm quite glad that I'm able to go through each section of the topical component, focusing on the gap text and the matching component, and also details of technique in your CCAOL, your emails. Okay, so before we go, I have to give you your QR code. Remember how I told you just now, the QR code is inaccurate, okay? The QR code is inaccurate. So before you go, let me share screen. Can you take a picture of this QR code? This is the answers for page 127. Everybody in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. This is the QR code for an extra model paper and answer for you to access. Take another picture in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So hopefully today's free seminar from TTC is useful to you. If you have any questions, I gave you my phone number. Feel free to WhatsApp me. And of course, try the Holland test at the beginning of the the Zoom. Okay. Hope wishing you the very best. See you very soon. Bye-bye.